Welcome back to CJ Sports. Today is May 31st, 2021. Today I have joining me, since Clay cannot be here today, I have joining me Mr. Jared Harper. Jared, go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit, then I'll get into the details of the episode and we'll get going.
What it do, baby? You already know. I guess this week it's J and J Sports, not
Exactly.
really, not C and J. So,
Yes.
so my name is Jared. I live in Oklahoma City. So yeah, I'm a big Thunder fan. Big, got to rep my Philadelphia Eagles one time.
Mhm.
Uh, I just love sports. Like I that way, I just all sports. I will sit and watch almost any sport. So this is fun. Thanks for having me.
Of
Shout out to
course.
Clay. Hope you're listening. And yeah, let's dive right in.
All
I'm
right, man. So we're
I'm
gonna
hyped.
this episode we're gonna go over our number fours for those that are still trucking through with us on the numbers, and then we're gonna talk a little bit of NFC East, kind of our predictions. Even though with OTA starting and stuff like that, things coming up, and talk a little bit of Tebow time. Is it Tebow time? We'll discuss at the end.
We'll find out.
Exactly. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'll get started with our number fours. My first guy, he's kind of a joke, kind of respected. It depends on how you look at it. But I really like Derek Carr.
Okay.
Derek Carr he's a kind of he's the I figured to get that face.
Yeah.
He's a little bit of a polarizing quarterback in the NFL, but honestly, I think the dude's staying with the Raiders. Who knows how much longer he's going to be there, honestly, but I respect him. He's been there for 7 years, made a few Pro Bowls, has made the team semi-competitive, and you kind of never really know where they're going to be at. Um,
Yeah.
and so I don't know. He's a guy I like watching throughout the season. You never really know what they're going to get.
Yes. So like yes, absolutely. I think I that way. Derek Carr is one of those guys that like he's solid enough to win you some games, but but we just don't know if he's the quarterback that can get you over the hump and get
Right.
you on that and get you just on that long playoff run. So we'll see. Though he's got Marcus Mariota, who whenever he played last year, he played pretty solid.
Right. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see.
Definitely
Um,
didn't make Definitely did not make my list, but
I
yeah,
did
good
figure.
number
Yeah,
four.
I didn't figure you would probably put him on your list. But so my next pick is if I got any other baseball listeners or watchers, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll know this guy for sure. He was on Tampa Bay as a pitcher for the first 5 years of his career. Now he got traded to San Diego, and a kind of a big trade before the season started is Blake Snell.
Mm.
And say, Jared, I know you're not much of a baseball guy.
I've
So
I've heard the name Blake
yeah,
Snell before. I
yeah,
couldn't tell you anything about him,
yeah,
but
I'd say he's a pretty good. Not this season he hasn't done very well, but he's a Cy Young winner. He won Cy Young in 2018, and so he's
respect.
definitely proven himself. He's just kind of having a bit of a rough year this year with Padres. But
Mm.
that's to be expected in the division that they're in. The National League West is a powerhouse division right now,
Mm.
minus the Rockies and the
Mm.
Diamondbacks. But they have to play
Mm.
the Dodgers a lot, and the Dodgers are the best team in the league.
Yeah.
So when you're playing the West and you're a really good pitcher, you're going to kind of get batted around a little bit. And he's done all right, but not great. Not kind of Blake Snell level the way he's kind of performed the past few years with Tampa. But it'll take some adjusting going from American League to National League and to a new division and everything. But
Mm.
I've got good hopes for him. He's I think he'll be a solid part of that rotation for the next few years. My number two will get a face from Jared for sure.
I already know who this is.
I debated putting him on here because he's not like untouchable from the list, but he's a guy I gotta rep my team, man. Dak Prescott, number
I knew,
4,
I
Dallas
knew it was coming.
Cowboys quarterback. Been with the team for 5 years now. This will be his 6th year, which is crazy to think about. Um, offensive rookie of the year, 2 Pro Bowls. Has been the first quarterback, since Tony Romo, and carried that mantle on fairly well, I would say. There's kind of 1 or 2 bad seasons, but besides that, he's proven himself. Especially in 2019, having 4,900 passing yards and having a decent shot at winning MVP that year. I think I don't remember how many MVP votes he ended up getting, or if he was really even that much in the conversation, but he was definitely made it interesting that year.
Yeah.
And I think this year they're coming back. He's coming back with something to prove, but I'll kind of hold that until we get on to our next topic. We'll see. But for my number 1, again, any person that was in and around the game of baseball the past 20 years, basically. The catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, this was most likely his last year, unless he decides to keep playing and maybe gets signed with a random team or something like that. But Yadier Molina. So he is the dude. There are a few videos of him if you look up great catcher highlights in the last 15 years. Yadier Molina is going to be in the video somewhere. He's got an elite arm behind the plate, and he too was I talked about Jeff Mathis last video. Yadier Molina is a better version of Jeff Mathis. He is defensively very good, a pitcher's best friend, knows exactly what to calls a really good game, and can throw guys out trying to steal second base. He's overall what you want as a catcher. He's the now blueprint of what all teams want as their catchers going forward. And he is not necessarily the most offensive minded guy, but he has won 9 Gold Gloves, 4 Platinum Gloves, has made the All-Star team 9 times, 1 Silver Slugger. He's had MVP votes in the height of his career, and he is a first ballot future Hall of Famer. Going to be one of the only catchers probably in the Hall of Fame next to Pudge. But he's had a really, really good career, and I'm kind of sad to see it end because I grew up watching Yadier Molina play. But he's my number 1, number 4. He is the guy that I can't imagine baseball without him, and pretty much is happening next year, unless for randomly he gets signed. But yeah, man, that's my list.
Very solid list. Very solid.
Yeah. I'll add an honorable mention real quick. I wanted to add Adam Vinatieri as an honorable mention, and Lou Gehrig.
Yes.
Vinatieri coming out this past week, retiring. Solid career. He made the snow game kick for the Patriots.
Legendary.
Absolutely legendary. Yeah. And Lou Gehrig, one of the other baseball players that played in the era of Babe Ruth, and forever changed the game of baseball. So yeah, Jared,
absolutely.
Pass it to you.
All righty.
Number 4.
Yes. So my number 4 list, they're more structured on tiers than actual rankings.
Okay.
So so for my Philadelphia Eagles tier, there's only one number 4 that I've really ever watched play with the number 4, and this is a deep cut. And it's a quarterback named Kevin Kolb. Kevin Kolb cracked my number 4 list. He was Donovan Peoples' backup for a little bit. He got a chance to start right before Michael Vick came and kind of took over that job. But so right whenever I became a Eagles fan, whatever, as Donovan was leaving, and it was in that right middle area that way,
Gotcha.
and that way, and Kevin started a couple of games, and he actually kind of showed out a little bit. Like, but also the Eagles offense back then had Deshaun Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Maclin, like that
Mm-hmm.
way, just that way, uh, that way, just like a whole bunch of good receivers. So he probably could have done nothing but like but produce it. But that way,
Yeah.
but that way. So Kevin Cobb, congratulations. You're probably not gonna make anybody else's top list, but you can make mine. Uh, so so for uh my OU Sooners boomer number one. The way I actually have two guys to mention right here. Both of them have cooked the Texas Longhorns whenever they
Mm-hmm.
played them.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is my man Kenny Stills. He still plays right now. I think he play. I don't remember where Kenny Stills plays right now because he's been traded a couple times.
Who
He
knows?
may be in he may be in Houston. I'm pretty sure,
I think
but
so. Yeah.
but Kenny Stills just very solid. Just like dude, just like a dude that you can put in the slot and he's gonna produce for you that way. Because that's what he did for Miami for a couple of years. That's what and pretty much everywhere he's gone, he's produced at a decent level. So shout out Kenny Stills. And then the second person in this tier actually just got drafted this year. I believe was the third. I believe he was a third or fourth round pick. Trey Sermon.
Mm.
Uh, that way, Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon honestly was one of my favorite running backs, besides for Adrian Peterson to ever come out of OU.
Fair.
He decided to transfer to which go to you that way. Because uh but just the way that Trey Sermon runs the ball, like is just just because he's not gonna burn you with speed, but he's
Mm.
gonna run through you, and
Oh
that's what
yeah.
I enjoy.
Oh yeah.
I enjoy I enjoy people who are not afraid to run through it to go get a first down.
Yeah.
So shout out Trey Sermon. He got drafted by the Niners. Uh, and so anybody who knows me knows I am a big basketball head.
Mm-hmm.
So the two guys that I'm about to mention, these are not their most famous numbers, but they are currently wearing the number 4, and that is Derrick Rose for the New York Knicks
Okay.
and Russell Westbrook for the Washington Wizards, who are actually playing right now. That
Yeah.
way, they're, they're trying to not get swept right now by the Sixers. So yeah, these are just two guys that I have always been a fan of. Obviously, Russell Westbrook. I'm from the Oklahoma City area, so I've literally watched Russell Westbrook develop into the dude with the most triple doubles in NBA history. Like, and what's cool about that is that he's really only been getting triple doubles like this for like the last five 6 years.
Yeah,
That
that
way,
sounds about right.
that way, and that way, that way, like a like when he broke a record that literally that anybody in the basketball circle thought that Oscar Robertson's triple double record was never going to be broken
Yeah.
by anybody. So
Right.
so yes, so big Westbrook guy. Hope that they don't get swept, but you know if they do, go
It's
Sixers.
okay.
And then and they're pros, so it's like that way. Uh, Derrick Rose was one of the dudes that literally got me into watching basketball.
Mm.
That way because I started watching basketball the season of his MVP
Mm.
whenever he became the youngest MVP in league history, and man, the dude had everything. He can hit you with a floater. He can hit you with a euro and lay it up. He can the dude was just amazing to watch.
Mm.
Uh, no like and the like the like and just seeing everything that he's battled with, injury after injury and trade after trade, and just going to all these different teams. Like you look back to even just last game, he put up 30. the like and the like the like the like the like and should have been more considerate for six man for my book, but I'm also biased. But so yeah, so Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook, Kennedy Stills, Trey Sermon, and Kevin Cobb all make my number 4 list.
Very very interesting picks. I'm not gonna lie, not at all what I expected. I'm not super shocked at the Russ pick. Um, so that was good. That's a good list though. Very very respectable. I like it. Um, so let's, I guess, continue moving forward. Like I said at the beginning, Jared, as we've both made apparent so far, Jared and I are both fans of different NFC East teams. We definitely
NFC least, baby.
yes, very proud. But we both definitely are texting each other and going at it during the season, especially playing in a fantasy league together.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just and I'm actually like, it's not subtweeting anymore, but it's whatever it would be. I made a few comments about some moves the Eagles have made, and they were all in reference to Jared. So taking some slight jabs, and I definitely got the text back about like how
yeah. I felt the disrespect.
Yeah, especially with the Carson Wentz comments. So I get it. I knew it was going to happen.
Yes.
But I guess, Jared, how do you foresee the NFC East going this season?
Well, first of all, number one, let's circle back to this Carson Wentz comment. That way, I'm still a Carson Wentz believer. I think that he's going to go to Indy and show out. To be honest,
and I hope he does.
I don't know what happened last year. There's a bunch of like reports on backstage or backstage or like locker room stuff and some of like the coaches and so hopefully him having a coach that believes in him and and has really gotten the best out of him like before helps him do that in Indy. But also to the same avail, the Eagles didn't do him any kind of favors ever since that Super Bowl season. Why? Because we had the opportunity to draft guys like DK Metcalf, Justin Jefferson, Terry McLaurin, all of these great wide receivers. We've drafted JJ Arcega-Whiteside. JJ Arcega-Whiteside. And as of right now, Jalen Reagor. I'm not going to hate on the Jalen Reagor pick because that's still very fresh. But like JJ Arcega-Whiteside over DK Metcalf, like come on, bro. Like that's insane. Tough. But but so anyway, so Carson, I'll let you have a killer season next year. And also please be healthy, so we can get this get this number 3 third round pick for us. But so jumping shift to the MC's conversation, it's hard to say who should be the favorite, to be honest, though. Because you have Washington who has stellar defense. They now have a more serviceable quarterback with Fitzpatrick, and you still have McLaurin, you have Sims, you have all other weapons on offense. You have the Giants who towards the end of last year, they were starting to pick things up a little bit, and making some steam. And then you have the Dallas Cowboys who just for no reason took CD Lamb, even though they didn't need him. I am very salty about that still. But Dallas is always going to have a puncher's chance with just how much offensive firepower they have. That way, you can call them garbage time stats because they were down by so much and just had to catch up. I think that that's valid to a certain
Yeah.
extent, but but whenever you have an offense like that,
Mm.
it's really hard to really like argue against that, to be honest. But that way, and then you have my Eagles, who are, I'll say that we're rebuilding. Just like maybe not like a full fledged break the team up rebuild, but but we only had the quarterback that we drafted number 2 overall for 5 years. The way, and now we're gonna see what Jalen Hurts has got. I'm gonna be honest. I've never been a big Jalen Hurts fan. I didn't like him at Bama. Definitely didn't like him whenever he played for my Sooners because I thought that the dude behind him was a better thrower than he was. I definitely did not like my Eagles drafting him in the second round. That's another draft miscue that didn't help Carson Wentz. That's a separate issue for a different day. But the but we're going to see what Jalen Hurts is made of this year. And I think that if it doesn't work this year, well then we'll have 2 first round picks next year. So we can definitely either just draft the quarterback with either how bad we are, or or trade up and go get whoever whoever the front office wants. I that way if you're asking me to rank them, I
Yeah.
I really
We'll do it. We'll do it this way. Who do you think doesn't have the chance at winning the division? Like who just like they're not winning the division this year. Like they've got you made points about every team, which I agree pretty much. But like there I think I in my head there's 2 teams that don't have a shot this year. So who would you say?
see, but that's the hard part is is because like most of these teams are just quarterback play dependent on being good. You can say that like for every team, but but I don't see the Giants making that big of a leap this year. Maybe next year. But I also don't believe it in Daniel Jones. To which maybe he proves me wrong this year, and it doesn't trip over. It doesn't trip over. Just like he did in that Thursday night game, which was very funny.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that the Eagles don't. No, like but also with all this being said, I also don't see the NFCs being as bad as it was last year.
Yeah.
I just don't. Because I think Dallas is going to go back to being maybe not a 12-win team, but probably at least that 10-11 win threshold. I think Washington's probably about like a 9-win team, and then the other 2 teams are probably going to depend on how good their unproven quarterbacks play.
Yeah.
Which to which you can never really bank for sure on that. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, and I pretty much agree with you. I'd say of all the teams, and specifically with the NFC East last year, of every team having a losing record, and no one expected that whatsoever. Pretty much everyone thought Dallas was going to come out and just wipe the floor, and they very much didn't. Didn't help. Dak Prescott got hurt halfway through the season, but at the same time, and it just like. At the same time, it just proves kind of like how much each of those teams, once they're like what they have their team built on, once that falls, they're bad. All of them are just bad teams. Like they don't have the depth. They don't have enough in enough places to be able to continue on. I think the team that
Absolutely.
did show the most like grit and gut like to keep going was Washington.
Yeah.
I think Washington proved themselves last year, especially with that defensive line they have, dude, is insane. And so I don't know. I think I think it's going to be a battle between Washington and Dallas this year. I'm not saying that as a Cowboys fan. I'm trying to say that as like from an observation of just looking at the teams separately, and being as unbiased as I can. I would love the Eagles to kind of make a run for it with Jalen Hurts and just Jalen Hurts to have this breakout year when everyone's kind of questioning what the Eagles are even going to be. With a new coach and everything, just everything being different, and so I would love for Jalen Hurts and the Eagles just like to prove everyone wrong because I think it would be a really good story to watch throughout the season. But at the same time, the Giants don't have a shot. Like the Giants haven't had a good quarterback since Eli Manning's second Super Bowl. Really, let's just be real. Like Eli Manning was so inconsistent. He was a good quarterback, but he was so inconsistent. It was so hard to tell what you're going to get from him. And so, and Daniel Jones, I don't think Daniel Jones is the answer. I think he has enough to help them get back to where they want to be, but I don't think he's the guy that's going to take them back to the playoffs and into the Super Bowl. Dude, but if the Cowboys can freaking just get enough defensive guys that at least play consistently and not get hurt all the time, they can have a shot. And who knows with Leighton Vander Esch, and there's like several guys. This is their last year of their contract. Yeah. So you're going to figure out whether you want to keep Jalen Ramsey or Leighton Vander Esch. Because you can't keep both. They're both going to demand top dollar. And who they go with, I honestly don't know. The freaking Dallas fans love both of them, but I think Vander Esch probably has an edge in the fans' eyes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think Cowboys do have the best shot. I would agree. I think they're probably a 10 or 11 win team, and I think Washington could potentially be the same. I think Washington could give them a run for their money as long as the defense holds up and the offense can do just enough. But yeah, I don't know. I'd say it's probably a battle between Dallas and Washington, and then the Eagles and the Giants kind of fight for that third spot, just to kind of see the direction both of those teams are going.
Yeah, I would that way. Yeah, I hope that Jalen Hurts is the guy. I really do. Because I don't want to go back to having subpar quarterback play. But he's got to take a step up, and also the entire offense as a whole needs to step up. Because you can blame all the offensive woes last year on Carson, but unless you're actually watching the games and watching how Doug was calling the games, like he wasn't doing them any favors either. Just like the fact that you have a back in Miles Sanders, and he's maybe getting 12 to 15 carries per game. Come on, bro. That's it was that and also Jalen has a number one now. In Devontae Smith to which I am very interested to see how they're going to use him, because his whole thing at Bama was all right, he can is you have to not necessarily use him as a gadget type player, but you have to be able to move him around. Because if you move him around, it's harder for people to get their hands on him. And so but you have to but to which that is to where that's where the league that's where the offensive minds are starting to go to now.
Mhm.
But but system is so important in
Yeah.
in terms of offensive success, because even if you look back, whenever Chip Kelly was here, we the like we this still makes me mad to this day. We signed DeMarco Murray, who the season before was the NFL's leading rusher,
Yeah.
the leading rusher in the NFL,
Yep.
and literally all he did was say, "All right, run to that hole. You run to that hole." That way, he gets here to Philadelphia. He's being asked to run all the way outside, and and whatever. That's just not his game.
Yeah.
So it's like, just as offensive personnel, why would you ask him to do something that he's not good at? Because DeMarco Murray never had speed.
No.
That way
He was a downhill runner.
he was a downhill runner. That way so why would you ask him to even do that? That way that way that's probably one of my biggest that's one of my biggest things is all right, if you know that a player is the way doesn't particularly play man very well,
Mm-hmm.
don't ask him to play man.
Yeah.
Like the way the way I the way I the way uh if you go back to the way to the Packers last game against Tampa Bay.
Mm.
They were literally exploiting Kevin King, because Kevin King cannot play man. Sorry, Clay. I don't know I don't know I don't know how big of a Kevin King stan you are, but Kevin King is not a good man corner. He can play his own decently. That way, but that way, but they literally had him play man, and
Yeah.
literally every time he played man on either Devontae Adams or Chris Godwin, it was a 50-yard game. So but the way, but what do I know about football?
Right. Right. Oh, well, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, that it. Yeah, yeah, that's all I gotta say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, we'll end it with this. Does Tebow make the team out of mini camp? Okay, let's say he does. Let's say he does make the team out of mini camp. How does he get any touchdowns this year?
I feel like they would probably make him get one just
Right.
because, but just because of the backlash that they're getting for it. To which I'm not fully on board with the Tim Tebow signing. Just me personally, I don't particularly like giving people who have been out of the NFL for 8 years and weren't even good at their first position. Chances like that, whenever you have guys that literally played last year that's still on teams, but
Yeah.
that's just me.
Yeah.
You can if you can say that it's good for the locker room. Who's who's gonna listen to the backup tight end? I probably
Yeah.
barely made the roster.
Yeah.
That's I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
So so if Tebow even makes this team, to which they probably will just have him make the team just
Yeah.
to
Just for sell tickets.
yeah, pretty much. His jersey is selling number one right now.
Yeah,
Which
and it's insane.
to which I'm just bro,
He's not even officially he's officially on the team, but he's just officially on the team roster. Who knows? And I'm
I
with you.
honestly want to make a bet with someone to where the loser has to buy this Tim Tebow jersey.
Maybe, dude. Maybe we. Oh my gosh, I don't want to say that right now, but we'll see. We'll see if Tebow ends up making the team. I might
Yeah.
have a side bet with you that will like
Deal.
throughout the season we
Deal.
can
Deal.
just
Deal.
keep an eye on. Um, but no, yeah, I mean I'm with you. I think Tebow. I think the locker room argument is probably your best argument.
Yeah.
Only because like there are some guys that won't respect him because like you said, he was a guy that tried to be quarterback and I think he was a quarterback ahead of his time. I think if he was college, no, I think if he was in college
No.
the past no, here
No.
just listen, well, hear me out. If he was in college the past 4 years and graduated the same stats and won at least one national title, I think he'd have a shot. I think he'd have a
No.
shot. I don't think because he's the runaround quarterback that so many guys are looking for. Him in college is what so many pro teams now are looking for in a quarterback. And so
No.
I think he had just hold on. I think he
Okay.
would have a shot as a quarterback if he was back in his prime coming out of college. But as a tight end, a lot of people had the argument that that's what he should have done when he went into the NFL in the first place because he was a bigger dude and
Yeah.
he had good set of hands on him. All he needed to do was put on a few pounds and really get some toughness and learn and be a solid a so blocker. That's all he would have needed to do. But he didn't. He decided not to. Played had a debatable career of whether he was very good or just not worth it at all. I don't know. And so then he tried to play baseball, and that was a joke. Um, and then after he was done with baseball, he decides to go back to the NFL. And I agree with you. There are guys that just graduated college looking for teams, and he's taking up a roster spot. It's that he's there when some young kid could be looking for a chance.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, man. Does he make the team? I think he makes the team to sell tickets. Does he catch a touchdown? At least one, like you said, just to shut everybody else up. But after that, he either gets hurt or I don't know. Maybe he turns into a solid backup.
Yeah. I have 3 comments.
Okay.
On this. Number 1, Tim Tebow probably would have been a fine tight end in his 20s whenever he came out that way, but definitely not like 34, 38-year-old Tim Tebow who hasn't played a down of NFL football in 7-8 years. Number 2, Tim Tebow is one of the most overhyped college players that I have ever heard in my life. Because listen. Like, you go back and look at those Florida teams. They were stacked at literally every single position, and and they were mostly running the ball. They were not really passing the ball that much. Like whenever they threw the ball, he hardly ever had to throw the ball deep. So Tim Tebow has never been able to throw the ball. So the conversation of him being able to be that guy now, no, because he was never at least with like guys like Russell Wilson and like I'm Lamar Jackson. Like, they've always had the arm talent, but they can also like run with their legs too. But Tim Tebow never had the arm talent to be any kind of NFL quarterback. His one throw that he's known for, the one throw was a 5-yard slant route that the dude literally took the other 70 yards. So I don't want to Tim Tebow, I'm sure that you're a good person and like you will never see this video. But come on, bro. You just weren't it. And then number 3, I don't remember what number 3 was, to be honest. But no way. But that way. But I will just say that if Tebow does end up making the 53, like that way, he'll maybe get to like 2 touchdowns, and like that way, and and like that's being nice for me.
That's fair. That's fair. And yeah, we'll see though. We'll see though.
We'll see.
So that's gonna do it, I think, for this episode. Jared, thank you very much for joining me on the podcast this week. Since Clay can't be here, but we have been trying ever since we started this. We wanted to get you on here, and finally it lined up where Clay wasn't going to be here, and you were available. Wish Clay could have been here to kind of talk smack on your Kevin King comments.
I'll have to hear about that next week, probably.
Yeah, for sure.
But the way, I do have a pitch idea for later on, like before like the season starts. We need to find 2 other people. One being a Giants fan and one being a Washington football team fan, and we can just all 4 have a genuine discussion on on the NFC East. And
it's a good idea, but good luck finding a Giants fan and a Washington fan.
Oh gosh,
where we both live doesn't exist.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, I like the idea. We'll see. Okay. So next week is going to be our me and Clay are going to go our number 5s and keep some tabs on sports things going on. Might check back in with the NFL. Not the NFL, the NHL and NBA playoffs, as those are going on right now, as Jared alluded to. Games being played literally as we're speaking. But that's going to do it for us at CJ Sports. We will see you next week.